only recently found out that me starting like talking immediately as this turns 1 second has been a lie. It doesn't work that way. I watched the VOD and like quite a bit is cut off, so I'm gonna start waiting for this number, I guess. So I have been reading far more source code recently. Say maybe I want to figure out how to implement some functionality using a plugin. Maybe there's some bug in, once again, a plugin, which has happened twice in recent time. So that, and then maybe even potentially creating a PR to some other repository to add some feature or fix some bug. And it's kind of an annoying process working in a project that you're not familiar with, because, well, where is the thing that you're actually looking for? You most likely are not going to change the entire project in a single PR. No, usually you just want to change some specific thing, and so you search for it. I, quite obviously, use Telescope Live grep for this, which, by the way, I think is kind of a name. I wish they just called it RG or ripgrep, and the find files that it calls, so this thing, I wish it would just call it FD or FD-find if they had to. I think it abstracts what it is actually using behind the scenes for no good reason, because when you use them, it's also find files and also live grep. So I don't know, I find that to be a bit strange. Let's open some plugin. I don't know, let's do spider, and maybe I want to search for something. I haven't actually come up with an example though. Let's search for pattern, and it's not the perfect example of how it generally is, but oftentimes when I search for something, let's say I wanted to change the pattern that Neovim Spider uses, but what I come across is pattern matching in text files in documentation. I have already probably tried reading the documentation. I searched for it first from Neovim, searched there, but didn't find what I want, and now I'm having to read source code, for example. So having all of these text files makes no sense for me. I don't want that. Same thing about the README. It appears even though I most likely also already read that. So what I actually want to search are specifically Lua files. But yet I have a lot of other bullshit that I have to go through. I usually have a preview because I already know more or less how the code is gonna look. So I just look here rather than looking at the paths on the left here. So as I scroll, I look, and then the README starts. And because I'm looking at the preview, I just continue on pressing J to go to the next, and I keep seeing the README, which is not what I want to see. So just kind of annoying to have to go through this. However, if we go and look for Well, actually, I should probably show this off too. Maybe later. If we look at the help page for ripgrep, we'll find this little flag, which is really neat. You can pass -t and then effectively the file type that you want to search for. So you can do -t Lua, and that will only show you Lua files, which is very, very convenient. But if we also look for telescope built-in live grep, there's not like a direct option that says ask me for a flag, at least not directly, but you can pass it as like a string, the file type directly. Same thing about the -g flag, where you can provide a glob like in your shell, but more specifically a glob like in gitignore, and it will only search in that glob, in the files that match that glob. Or you can just straight up pass the arguments themselves, which is what I opted for. So now what I can do is do my mapping, and it says, well, would you look at that, RG. It is expecting me to type in some flags. So I do -t Lua, and now I can start my search. Let's do, what was it, prompt? Pattern, right. And now as we scroll through, you can see that there are no longer any README files or text files or anything else, because like we only have Lua files here. Also, kind of funny how the matching is a bit confusing. It looks like it's matching these lines because the file name matches. That is not the case. It's because this line contains pattern, but it highlights this one. I am sure it's a known issue. Otherwise, are they blind? So I'm not gonna like open an issue or anything. It's probably already known. Okay, so the -t flag, I can also use the -g flag, which, as I explained, expects a glob. So let's search in like this. Why is this different? Because let's say you want to search Rust files. You can either do it like this or like this, whatever your preference is. I prefer the -t, but considering that what this file type name is decided by ripgrep, so it's non-standard and non-specific. So if something has a weirdly named file type, you may get surprised. Possibly. And it also doesn't necessarily support every possible file type to ever exist. Maybe it does by all accounts, but still, this is more a shortcut that makes a glob, if I understand this correctly. So using -g can be more direct, and sometimes faster too, because MD is faster to type in than -t markdown. That would be the file type. But this is like not specific to what I made and I'm showing off to you. This is just RG flags. Straight up, you can use them in your terminal. I just made it so I can actually use them in Telescope Live Grep. So let's search for, in Markdown, for A, I don't know. And here it is. It is even matching the markdown files in .github. You can actually remove those from the search. let me show you how. We do once again -g, any markdown, but now we provide another glob, not .github. I believe this will work. And what did we search for? I think F? Yeah, we searched for A, and now you can see that that markdown file is no longer matched, which is pretty amazing. So yeah, the globs work at least very similarly, and maybe exactly the same as gitignore globs. So how did I do it? Like this. Here you go. The only two abstractions that you need to know about is this and this. Add them to your config, and here you go. You can do the same thing. I also add the -- hidden flag because I often configure, matter of fact, that's most of what I do. So keeping on ignoring dot files when most of the things that I work with are dot files kinda makes no sense. But you could remove it, like do it like this. Same thing for find files, I added the hidden flag there too. Let me show you how to do that. Wait, no, not here. Here are the configs. So basically for find files, I set hidden to true. To live grep, I pass hidden implicitly, and to grep string, I do as well. The reason why I have to re-add this argument again is because I'm overriding additional args. Because additional args is an array, or actually more so, because I pass an ops table and pass this additional args field, the default that I set in my telescope configuration no longer works. And so I need to pass it again. Gitignored files are still not shown, by the way. They're not searched. And the reason why we saw that, if we do glob any markdown, the reason why we can see this GitHub is because when you pass a glob, it overrides any type of ignoring. It overrides the ignoring of dot files, and it overrides the ignoring of gitignored files. So something that is important to know. I wonder if that is the case with this. No. Or rather, yes, it is exactly the same thing. So -t, I guess, does the same thing. It ignores any type of default hidden behavior. But that moves me to the next thing that I want to do. And the next thing I want to do is destroy that tractor. God damn. I wonder, why is lazy dev like broken? It's pretty strange. It's still broken, by the way. Huh. Like, damn, like, hello? Because, like, it's loaded in 158 milliseconds. That's insane. I mean, this is kind of a huge file. Well, not even. So it's like kind of slow here, but still kind of strange. So I know it's broken also because it's not highlighting Vim especially, and it is supposed to. So like, ugh. What if we go to a different file? To this one, and now we go back. Really? I'm honestly not sure. So, the next thing that I want to do is make a mapping to live grep in this file, in the current file. I'm not sure if it's reasonably doable though. I know it's unreasonably doable, but I'm not sure if it's reasonably doable. So you can pass files to search in two different ways. Either you do rg your pattern -- files, or you do rg glob this path your pattern. Both of these have issues. If we use glob and pass this path, it will consider the exclamation mark to mean, oh, don't search in this file, because globs have special meaning. And this might just not be possible with the API that Telescope provides us, because it says additional args, meaning it probably just puts the pattern after everything. So we might not be able to put pattern in the middle like this, because I'm pretty sure you cannot put files before in any way, which really sucks. But to see if that is the case, I want to actually see if that is the case. Let's do leader.js. Wait, so it is loaded. What the fuck? Yeah, that is for sure Lazy Dev's doing. Huh. Maybe I removed the highlighting some time ago, because it does recognize it. Interesting. I probably did, I guess. So let's do live grep and do additional args is a function that takes args, prints them, and returns them. So effectively it does nothing. What I want to do right now is look at the args as they are. So let's try it. Well, I wish it told me. So the args, it doesn't just give us args, it also gives us other things as well. Interesting. Okay. Let's do this. Oh, really? Additional args I don't think it can print the function, but let's just try. Yeah, it says function 1. I mean, yeah, I would be expecting too much from it. Oh, by the way, yes, I can indeed like reload my mappings without restarting new of them. Because this whole file sets all of my mappings. So all the mappings are in their own table. One table per combination of modes, and then per every table, I do a for loop where I map. Yeah, basically I set a mapping using that table to those multiple modes. So when I do %sign Lua or just source, I can reapply my mappings. And I have a special mapping that does exactly that. Well, not exactly, but I don't want to talk about it. So let's execute this function to see what it gives us. Huh? Wait, what? Wait, how's that possible? It says function 1, but when I call it, huh, how is that possible? That's very strange. It reports as a function. To make absolute sure, let's do this to see if it is indeed a function. Or maybe it's nil somehow. It is a function. I should be able to call it. Or is that like a cyclical loop that it refers to this? I have a feeling that it does. Interesting. Okay, I guess we'll have to look at the source of telescope. And now I can actually immediately use this. Let's search in Lua files for, I guess, live graph. And we still have like a bunch of docs, which is annoying. Let's mark this. This. Let's go there. What are they 5? Why are they checking like this? Wouldn't this be exactly the same? I think it should be, yeah. I will tell you more. So how do I show this off? Let's do Lua. Let's get the type of nil. Oh, well, I guess let's do like this. Let's get the type of nil. This is actually a string that type returns. The type of nil is nil. So if you check if type of this variable is function, if it is nil, it will not be function. Amazing, right? So they could have just... Well, nothing is stopping me, I guess, from PRing this. I guess. Sure. So... So it is indeed like a rotary thing, it seems like. Interesting how they did that. Okay, so we get additional arcs. Makes sense, makes sense. Yeah, so effectively we can't use that, but there is this. What I don't like about grep open files is because that is so arbitrary. It only makes sense for people who actually explicitly close their buffers. I never do. And yet, for some odd reason, you can't just pass like your own list of files. What if I add that feature? Would that be insane? Would that be possible? Okay, let's do search current. Ops search current. We add an else here. Nope, don't do that. So if search current, then search list is nope, then buff get name 0. Damn, it's slow. God damn. This is what streaming does to your computer, I guess. So this is our search list. Do we expect it to be a list? This might be a table, and this I can only assume might be a table. So just to make sure, we do this. What? Why are you screaming at me for? Oh my god. Let's cast this. Wait, really? I don't have the thing for it? That's wild. Cast to table. Because I guess it doesn't matter. What? Ah. Okay, I forgot about that. You actually specify the variable that you want to cast. That makes more sense. I literally just cast you. Why are you complaining? Let's do it here maybe as table. Okay, this works. So we're casting this variable to act as if it's stable, even though it's not. Good. So effectively, now you can pass the search current option to search in the current file, in theory. So let's try search current is true. Nuh-uh. Not at all. Oh, because it's plugin. Yeah, of course. Now, let's... And everything is broken. Interesting. What if we do expand instead? Wait. Okay, yeah, I am indeed changing live grab. So let's try this out. Still is broken. It is true though, so the option passing works correctly. Low-key surprising. Let's also check search list after. There's no search list. What? How? An empty search list? Huh. Interesting. Hi. So what I'm guessing is the case is once you run this, it immediately opens Telescope. So when you try to expand the file, it expands the file of Telescope, which is not a file. And it's like, what do you mean? Okay, so I guess let's do it better. Let's rename the search current option to search these, I guess. How do we name an option for live grep to... Yeah, search files, I guess. Search files. And we just, yes, search these files. And we can fix this now by doing files hidden function expand this. So search files is true. Well, that's wrong, but it's doing something. Oh, what am I doing? Files, of course. That's also wrong, by the way. That is so wrong. Huh. But how is that possible? I literally pass it though. I mean, to make sure that I'm not stupid, let's piss here. So here are our files. Yes, correct. Oops. And we pass those files into search files. Oh, that's because I fucking trusted the LSP rename to handle that for me too, but it didn't. Okay, that explains things. R. Okay. Yeah. It works. And now it only makes sense for me to actually make a PR with this. And you know what sucks? Making PRs, because I want this feature and this feature specifically, and then I open a PR and everyone's like, huh, wouldn't it be great if it worked this way and also let you able do this and this and this, and then for some odd reason I am the one to implement all those features I could not care less about. So I'm kind of scared of doing it. What did you change to find files? To find files, actually not much. Do you mean like the hidden things? I changed this. Hidden, I set it to true. In pickers, which is the opts. But live grep, that. Regardless, let's try to do that. Telescope. We'll redo it right now anyway, so just wait a second, because we're gonna fork it. We are going to enter it in 1 billion years. Let's go and find files, live grep, and let's redo this again. So local search files is ops search files. So if this is not specified, it will be nil. If it is an empty table, that is a mistake by the user that we should still handle, I guess. So ops search files. So basically now you can pass specific files to search in rather than just search in open files. List of file paths to search in. I will be flabbergasted if this actually just gets accepted with no pushback. I am trying to battle my trembling fear of making issues and PRs. I made 2 issues today and 1 PR, and another PR somewhat recently, and another one. Kind of a lot, actually. And one of those PRs actually got accepted, like very quickly and with no pushback, and with a thank you that was a my bad on my part, which must feel fucking amazing, right? And it did. So I'm trying to go against my fears and try to actually open PRs and work on other projects, despite my fear of effectively rejection, and also fear of having to do more work than I bargained for, which I'm hoping is not going to happen, because I think this API is very reasonable, first of all, and I hope I'm not going to like write a lot of docs for this, but I probably am. Yeah, I'll probably have to, which kind of sucks. I hate writing docs so much. Else, so if search files and number of search files is more than 0, so this basically makes it so if the user passes an empty table, we don't consider it. Then search list is search files. So that's basically the entire change. Fuck, I forgot to open a new branch. Search files. And just like that. Amazing. Oh, and we also, let's cast it to a table, because this kind of annoys me. Yes, it does work. Cool. And that's it, actually. Now what we have to do is search for every time search dirs happens. So these, and I guess all of them, right? Why is it yelling? The field must be defined after a class. Well, I guess I'll just ignore it. Search files. This is actually an array of strings. And so is this, technically. Not even technically, it is straight up just that. So, huh? Wait, this has been a feature? Why would it, what? Why would you call it search dirs? Call it fucking search paths, you psycho. What? So my feature has existed? No way, right? Well, this saves me the trouble. That's hilarious. Oh, sorry. I hate Telescope now. Holy shit. That is so bad. So the very appropriately named search dirs actually means search paths. I mean, I did start the stream by saying I would have already searched the docs and the readme, but I guess I didn't, so it's kind of on me, but it's far more so on them for naming it search dirs. It is not search dirs. It is search paths. Or search in. What? What? That's so stupid. GH repo delete yes. Telescope new of him. This fork hasn't lived for long, I guess. And let's remove it from here as well. Let's how do I do this again? Oh, just this. Blammo. Boom. Reverted all of my changes to make sure I'm not insane. Yes, indeed. So this feature has just been existing this entire time, and I didn't know about it. And before somebody in chat, rightfully so, says, oh, actually, there's a built-in picker called current buffer fuzzy find. I do know about it. Don't worry, but the issue with it, let's try it out. It doesn't use my... I'm not sure how to word this. I'm guessing it's not using tree sitter, which is why the syntax highlighting is different here. And it obviously also doesn't use the highlights provided by the LSP. So when I try to use this, it just looks really off and uncomfortable to me, which is why I don't use it. I got really excited when I first heard about it, but pretty quickly I was like, ugh. Which is why I wanted to use live grab for this instead. Damn. Buff get name 0. This is technically better. Ridiculous. Can we make it not show the file path? I assume no. Because, like, why would you want that type of thing? But maybe we can. For each input path, search the standard output. Wait, what? For each input path, this flag causes ripgrep to search the standard output of command path instead of the contents of path. This option expands the command program to either be a path or be available in your path. What? Either an empty string command or the no pre-file. Oh, fuck. That's kind of a lot. Ah, oh, I see. No, I don't. Okay, so this lets you put a command. So it goes through all the files that you specify to it, and it basically does the equivalent of command this path, and it searches for the standard output of this. Can we use this to make the behavior that I want? To basically pass the file as stdin. The reason I want to do this is this file doesn't have a path. So when I try to search for something, it doesn't work because there is no path. So I want to make this work basically. This might exist somewhere here, but I'm not sure where it would be. Search for path again. This flag prints the file path above clusters of matches from each file instead of printing it. Printing the file path as a prefix. Ooh, this might be useful. Oh, interesting. This flag enables sorting of results in ascending order. Instructs ripgrep to print the file path for each matching line. I see. When more than one file is searched and yet livegrep still prints it. That's annoying. That is it. That is exactly what I've been looking for. Okay, so let's do -I. Additional args is -I and wait, -- hidden makes no sense here. Let's try it. So isn't that interesting? I guess it can't do that. So it will be forced to print the file name. I guess because Telescope relies on it. That's kind of annoying. Okay, another approach. Path something, path display. Okay, what if I set path display to a function that returns an empty string? This is probably not gonna work at all. Wait, really? It just works? Just like that? Sure, and now and it works? And it magically works? What? That's insane. What? Huh. Well, isn't that amazing? What? I am impressed that it was not supposed to just magically work. That's crazy. Okay. I think I already disabled coordinates. Yeah. Separator. Used to separate non-contiguous context lines in the output. Gotcha. Field context separator. What does that mean? The separator only used when printing consecutive. It's not it. Field match separator. When printing matching lines. It's used the element file paths, line numbers. Fuck yes. Including 0. Amazing. Okay, yes. Holy shit. I very much did not expect this to just work. Matter of fact, it was not supposed to, almost. So this is now an empty string. And now it doesn't work. Interesting. I set it to a space. How about that? No? Really? But if I do it this way, I assume it will work. Yeah. If I set it to a different thing, it no longer works. So I guess telescope relies on the colon to be a separator. Gotcha. But strangely, it does not rely on path display. Well, yeah, I guess that makes sense. It wouldn't provide us a way to change path display if it relied on path display. That's fair. Okay, that's actually good enough though. So I can search like, oh, telescope. First I update and then telescope. And I'm like, so here are all the lines. Would you look at that? It even shows us the icon, which is very helpful. Like, And then I can like say, oh, I want to add this, this, and this to my quick fix list and go there. That's amazing. Okay, hell yeah. Live grabs the current file. That's amazing. Live grab the current file. That's great. That's really good. And yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to do, almost. I would prefer to not have the colon there, but oh well. And the icons are necessary there, but it's not a big deal. Let me share with you a track that's been stuck in my mind as usual. This one. I love Semtex. He's very experimental in the sense that he does have a lot of music that is kind of ass, but because of this like difference in potential, I guess, some of his tracks are like incredible, like holy shit. And it's one of them. What else can we talk about? Here's a simple one. I found a plugin that makes F and T motions way better. How would you get around here? What I've gotten used to doing is pressing to find open brace, meaning I had to count how many opening braces there are. In reality, I just want to get around here and then it's easier to move around. You might use something like leap to select that place, but the reason why I don't like leap-like plugins is that is that when you enter your search, you have to then register what key you now have to press to go there. Because this key is not L. It does not derive from what you would have entered anyway. So say I entered LI, and basically what I want is, as soon as I type in a pattern that is exclusive, I get jumped here. Leap actually does provide this, matter of fact, but I actually removed it because it threw me off. Whether or not I get immediately jumped to the place that I want was not certain. It was either immediate or not, and I would never know, kinda. The plugin called Eyeliner provides a really nice way to handle this. When you press F, it now colors all the unique letters to get to each word on this line. So how do we get to require? Well, just press R. It's like the first letter in this word. Same thing about telescopes, same thing about built-in, but now if you want to get to live grab, L is not unique to jump here because it appears at least here and here. So you couldn't press L to immediately jump here. Same thing about I, you would have to press it 3 times. But V is unique here, so you can immediately jump here by pressing V. Whoops. As you can see. And same thing about to get to grab, you just press G. So it does the mental math for you of picking the most efficient character to move more or less where you want. Because once I get here, it's way easier to get to the bracket or whatever I actually wanted to get to. So it's a really nice step in the middle to get more or less where you want to go, so it's then easier to move around from there. I really enjoy it. And it handles the mental math in a very convenient way. So let's say I press F with the intention of pressing L. I press F and I'm going to press L, but now I can notice that L is not highlighted. I might even okay, let's say I still press L, but I noticed that it highlighted V. I made a mistake already, but now I can instantly correct it because I already saw what would be unique. And this actually comes into play really often when using this. It's like amazing. But then also, I intend to press L, and maybe I can catch myself from pressing L, and now I see V, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll press V instead of L. I can sometimes catch myself before I press the character to search for. So this is like incredible. And it works for T as well, in the same way. So thanks to this, I've been using Leap even less often. I'm not using Leap that often to begin with, but even less often now. Let's go to Eyeliner. The cool thing is that you can lazy load it on keys, but you can probably see it that I pinned this plugin. That's because they fucked something up and made highlighting more annoying to deal with. Why? God fucking knows. So I reverted a few commits, and am not updating this plugin for now. This might not come into play for you, so try this out. Try this plugin out as it is, set it up and all that stuff. But if you then come to realizing that, oh, actually, this does suck, the way that she said, if that is the case, let's go for me to show you the commits that I'm on. I reverted to this commit. So you can revert the plugin to that commit as well and pin it if you want to. Not that I necessarily recommend it. Yeah. And then I just changed some colors, so you could just delete this. See, like, this line, this entire line is very loaded. It has so much bullshit. Like, how would I get around here? I have no fucking clue. And now I do. Because if... so C right here is not actually unique. But it is unique in the sense that you can press C and then immediately semicolon to jump to the next, and then you will immediately be here. So when I see a yellow C, I press C and immediately semicolon, and I go there immediately. So I love this plugin a lot. I can immediately jump. Ah, it's so good. This bothers me. Why are you... like, hello? I guess because that .git is not ignored. Let's ignore it. .git. The directory. Actually, .git anything. Good. So if you... if you didn't know, your home.config git ignore is your global git ignore file, and unless overridden in a project specific git ignore file, this will act as your default. Project.txt is a custom file that I made in every project where I contain all of my things to do for the project. And so I don't have to keep on putting it in git ignore in every project. I just have it global. And I just added .git so that it is considered as git ignored by ripgrep. There is also... oops. There is also .git info exclude. So this is project specific, and the difference between git ignore is that git ignore is kind of made to be public. It's made to be a unifying git ignore. That basically means that I assume that you're gonna get these files as well, and you also shouldn't stage them, basically. So it's for git ignore is for files that may appear for everyone working on the project. This path is specifically local to you, to your machine, to your repository. So this can be useful if your editor, for example, creates files that you don't want to accidentally stage and you want to git ignore them, or any other reason that is basically specific to just you. And this project.txt idea is specific to me. I haven't seen it as like something that repos do. So it's a safe enough name. and I always wanted to be get ignored, specifically for myself. So I started by adding project.txt to this file every time, but now it's just in my global git ignore, so I don't have to worry about it ever again. Right, so ffmpeg. No, not this one. Screen record. So you can apparently screen record using ffmpeg. I obviously didn't write all of this. I very obviously stole it. Not even from ChatGPT this time, but from a good friend, 29. I think I mentioned them already on some stream, because they're filled with like really useful knowledge. So, and I did modify this a bit to be to act like how I want, but the idea is mostly the same. Basically, I can go, whoops, I can go to my terminal and execute this fish script. Could be a bash script, there's no difference. And now I am currently recording my screen. My computer is probably really struggling right now because I'm streaming and recording using ffmpeg, so it's using my CPU. So if I like go around, blah blah blah, I can now press Q or Control C, and that will finish the recording. I set it to this path, so it will record into that path. So let's go to vid and open this recording that we just did. Oops, and here it is. That's the recording. Wait. What is MPV? I'm really confused. Is this MPV? We are in MPV? What? Huh. That was eternally confusing. Here it is. Uh-huh. Okay. So here we are. Finally. So as you see, we recorded our screen using ffmpeg. Let's skip a bit, and I move around. It's fairly good, even while streaming, which is kind of crazy. So I've been using this to record like small, quick little videos to send on Discord, for example, because this command also, I believe, scales it twice down, I believe, and also it compresses it. So basically the size is going to be pretty good. And also frame rate is 30 and not 60. So it's going to be a bit easier to send on Discord if you don't have Nitro, which is a great benefit. yeah. And I will also be using this to create some screen records for some of my plugins as like show-offs of how to use them, how they go, and all that stuff. But I think you can already pretty much imagine that I don't actually like execute screen record to start recording. No, I have a hotkey for this. I'm already recording. There's a window here. With FFmpeg, I press the hotkey again. It stops the recording. This is actually what has taken the biggest amount of time to set this thing up. I'm not even sure where to start. I guess on the hotkey. Let's search for caps lock. And now I can finally do caps. Wait, this is still not fuzzy. So, okay, but I at least I can do this. So caps lock. Then V. Yeah, this is already like better. Because I can see all the results at the same time and I don't have to press N, 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 N. That's basically the difference. I should probably write this down. So, turns out, what I had is a hotkey specifically to watch the most recent screen record. But I forgot about it, so let's add it. Global, watch the most recent screen recording. So, my hotkey, caps lock V, runs toggle screen record, which is this fish shell function. If there is a window, the title of which matches kitty screen record, then we do this. If there isn't such a window, create it. Now, what the fuck is this? This makes more sense once we start with this. I'm sorry for making it so confusing. So, we start kitty, the terminal, give it a title of screen record, and we give it a Unix socket that we can use to interact with this specific window. And the Unix socket is on this path. This can be literally any path. And so this terminal should run this script. Great. Once we have created this window, this if condition is going to be true. This window is going to match because it does have the title of screen record. So what we do now is use the previously defined Unix socket to interact with the window that we have already created by using kitten at, and kitten at lets you execute a kitty command on some window, and we provide which window using the socket. So we use the command signal child that we can use to send a signal to some kitty window, and the signal is sigint, which is the signal that is sent when you press Ctrl+C on a program, which, as I said, you can press Ctrl+C to correctly and normally finish the recording. It's kind of surprising, because usually Ctrl+C means stop immediately, break everything, I don't care, but in this case it means a graceful finish. Okay, so what is matches? Actually, let's do it a bit differently. Let's yank this in files of type fish. I hope this works. That's amazing. Damn, I'm ditching grep string in this case. Fuck grep string. Oh god. Useless piece of shit. Because it would definitely show me a bunch of files that I don't want to search. So this looks scary, and that's because it is. Most likely it is stolen from ChatGPT. WM control is a program that you can install, and if you execute WM control XL, it will show you all the windows that you have currently existing. WM control, I believe, is X11 specific though. You'll have to find something else if you use Wayland. So what we can do here is basically just regex some line, and if we can regex a certain line, that means that that window exists. So basically, if we can find kitty with the title of screen record, that means that window exists. And I use awk to make it get better, like more useful output that is easier to regex. So if we do get windows, you can see that this is quite a bit easier to look at and also easier to regex. There is no either a tab or many spaces, I'm not sure, and then lappy, all of this is gone. Just the instance, then the class, long dash, and the actual title of the window. So that's great. Now, matches just outputs get windows and tries to rip grep it, or rip grep whatever you give the arguments to, I guess. This should be this, and this as well. Alright, so that's how we use matches. We regex all the windows that exist with this regex. Meaning that if it matches, then the window exists, and we should send Control-C into it. And all of that is binded to a hotkey, making it a toggle. You don't have to go through the trouble of matches and rejects and get windows and VM control if you can just be okay with two different hotkeys. Then you just bind one hotkey to the one that creates and another hotkey to the one that closes. That can also work. But I fucked around and am quite happy that I can just toggle recording at any point. And because I made a window rule for this specific kitty window, it automatically appears in tag, or more normally called desktop, P, and it like flashes pink. So when a new window appears in a certain desktop, that desktop flashes pink for me, meaning that I get a notification when I start recording, which is really convenient. So you can be sure that yes indeed I pressed the hotkey and yes indeed it is now recording. So this is quite amazing. So now whenever I want to show something off, like, oh my god, would you look at this? Now I can use rip grep like this and it will only find all the Lua files. Isn't that so cool? and then I like stop the recording, go on Discord, and because it's stored in a convenient file, it's pretty easy to type it in, boom, and send it. So yeah, really exciting. The most important part that is going to be like the most annoying to copy paste from a stream or try to find in my dot files, although it's pretty clear, I guess. So I am in dot files, so it's probably the most starred repository on GitHub for me, and then scripts, screen record. So I guess you could find this, but there's a possibility I move it in the future and it will be God knows where. So I will send it on the Discord that you can join via a link in the description. Fun fact about the Discord, you can opt into the chatter role and you'll get pinged anytime I stream. There is an option called fold min lines, and it decides what is the minimum amount of lines that you can fold. By default it's 1, so basically there needs to be more than 1 lines for you to be able to fold them. Fun fact, you can set it to 0 to fold a single line. That is kinda sort of interesting, but this actually can be useful. First of all, because of fold do, but I already talked about this on some stream ago. The fact that fold do is ridiculously huge and immensely useful and powerful, but I'm not gonna re-explain it again. I want to show you a more common use case for folding a single line: wrapped lines. This huge ass line that was well, effectively 2 lines, I was able to basically hide by folding it. And here it is. Now it doesn't bother me as much. So if you set this option, fold min lines, to 0, then whenever some folded line is a bit too big, and you should get recognized. Hello, LazyDev? You better. Let's try to find a long ass line. I probably won't, considering that my formatter... Oh, I guess it exists. Really, and it doesn't auto-format. So yeah, like this line, for example, is too long for me, so I can just fold it, and here it is. Makes even more sense once it spans, like, I don't know, 5 visual lines. There it gets a bit more useful to actually fold it. Let's go back to this file. Let's say I want to search for env shell. No, let's say I want to search for feed keys. And I press N to go to other ones. Whoops! I forgot that feed keys can be in another word. And now it matched _int. That's not actually what I wanted to do here. I'm fucked. Unless I wrap feed keys in backslash fucking less than, and then backslash greater than. In Vim script, or rather in Vim regex, what this means is the same thing as backslash b in regex, in normal regex. Basically means that this pattern should not be inside of another word. So now, when we search for this, we will never appear on... Oh, come on, car. You really do not need to be that loud, I think. So we will never appear on feed keys int. You might have already known this. But also, it is kind of very annoying to go through this entire process. First of all, you probably won't think to use them immediately, because it's like, oh, come on, I'll just find whatever I want to find. But then when you realize that you want to edit that, you're like, okay, fine. Search, go back in history, and now you have to go through the trouble of doing this. It was kind of like annoying to have to do. Basically, do insert mode, press like home and stuff like that. So it's a hassle of its own. But did you know that when you press Ctrl F, you can actually edit your search pattern in a buffer? So you can do this, and this is a bit more convenient to type in, don't you think? However, now the issue is different. We do not get ink search. We do not see what we're currently searching. It could be 0 for all we know, and well, we wouldn't know, because it doesn't preview what we are going to find. It's because, damn, it is because we are in this command line window, and it does not provide ink search for us. Which is why you will often not want to edit some search pattern or a :s pattern in this more convenient window, because you lose the preview of what you're catching. You're between a rock and a hard place. What if I told you there is actually the solution? You can press, believe it or not, Ctrl C to go back to here. And then all you do is, like, I don't know, press space, backspace, and here you go. You have ink search again. You have a preview of what this pattern is. This makes far more sense to do if you're trying to make some more complex pattern. So this, and then blah blah blah, and then space and then, oh, maybe I fucked something up. Maybe I need to edit something here. I'm like trying to find something. Oh, actually, there is a problem. It should be at least on one character. Here we go. Nice. Well, not necessarily. Let's imagine it needs to be at least one character. So I press Ctrl F. I go here, change it to here, Ctrl C. And yeah, by the way, it does remember your position, which is, I guess, not a problem. Not really, just once again, space backspace. And it, in theory, should... oh, you have to backslash the plus. And now it actually gives you the preview. And then, believe it or not, I already talked about this on some previous stream, you can press Ctrl G to go to the next match without actually pressing enter. You never move there. You just look through all of them, but if you press escape, you're back where you was. The opposite of that is pressing Ctrl T to go to the previous one. Well, and then also you can press Ctrl L to add another character after the end of the match. So the current match, the next character is space. If I press Ctrl L, it inserts a space, and you can continue pressing it. I know, right? It is incredible. So now, anytime you want to create some more complex pattern, mostly going to be useful for S. Here's my really long, complex pattern. And then you realize that, oh, actually, I want to change something here. You don't have to be annoyed with having to use basically insert mode to change your text. No, press Ctrl F, go wherever you wanted, which is here, I guess. Change whatever you wanted, press Ctrl C, space backspace, and you would have a preview again. This wasn't too slow either. You notice that this was like reasonable. For a really long pattern that you want to edit, that's fairly reasonable. Control C, the fact that you have to press Control C to go back is really strange in my opinion, but it's better than nothing. Most definitely. Oh, and by the way, also, in command mode, let's say we once again do S, you can press Control R, Control W to insert the word at your cursor. So my cursor was here at function. So when I press Control R, Control W, it inserts function. Control L no longer works though. It only works in search mode, which is kind of unfortunate. But in search mode, let's say I do FUN, you might immediately think, oh, I can press Control L to continue doing this. That is true, but there's a more efficient method. You can press Control R, Control W once again, but now it actually completes the word that is the current match. It won't work again though, because the next thing is not a word. Or rather, it grabs the next actual word, which is not useful for this pattern. So you might have to press Control R, Control L, Control L, Control L, and now Control R, Control W. You get used to it. Yeah, I think that's about it, about all I have energy for. Thank you for watching. Join the Discord server, link is in the description.